Hey guys, what is going on? It is your good buddy Sam, and it's time. Well, it's Friday, so it must be time for another Friday Max for Live plugin spotlight. This week, I want to talk about the Sufi plugins. The Sufi plugins are a set of plugins made by DJ Rupture, aka Jace Clayton. These came out sometime in mid 2012, and what they are is a set of plugins for imitating or creating North African music. So if you take a look at the motivation for these plugins, if you take a look at most music production software, for starters, most of it comes out of one of two places, either the United States or Germany. And as a consequence, there are a number of musical ideas baked into the software. You know, you load it up, and by default, it's in C major, 4/4, 120 beats per minute. And worse still, you know, the keys are even tempered. There are a lot of ideas that we take for granted that if you came from a different musical tradition would be confusing, even weird. So the idea was to make plugins that took a different place, particularly North Africa, and said, what if the software came from this part of the world? What would the software look like? So if you install the plugin set that you download from, well, I'll provide the link, but from Jace Clayton's website, you get all these plugins. The Sabah, Hijaz, Homasi, Bayati, Palmas, Drone, and Devotion. Devotion's kind of a, well, I guess bonus is the wrong word, but what it is, it's a plugin that you drop. It's an audio plugin, and if you drop it on a track, it gives you this little map of the world and lets you pick where you are. And then what it does is automatically make the track quieter during the call to prayer for your part of the world, which I think is pretty nifty. It's not, if it were me writing it, what would happen is 5 times a day, there would be an enormous compass overlaid on your screen that wouldn't go away until you actually made your laptop face Mecca. But I guess that's why I don't get hired to write these things. In any case, that's Devotion. The other plugins, most are synthesizers. I think all are synthesizers. None of them is trying to imitate a particular instrument, I think, except you could argue Palmas, which is a clap synthesizer. Which is actually a pretty decent one. You can change the number of hands participating. You can change how staggered those hands are. And whether the clap is, a nice tittering golf clap, like so, or a hearty, staggering Orson Welles clap. Yeah, that's the good stuff. You can change this thing, which I guess has something to do with reverb, but I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. And as you can see, the text for each of these doesn't necessarily help if you don't read. It's that's one of the cool things about these plugins. None of the text for any of the parameters is written in English. They're all written in Tifinagh, or Neo-Tifinagh to be specific, which is a Berber alphabet, or a modernization of a Berber script. Here's a language chart for that particular script. And you'll notice something pretty neat. It seems like this chart was actually put out by Earcam. Really? That's kind of cool. Except it turns out Earcam is not the place in Paris, but rather the Royal Institute of Amazigh Culture in Rabat. Although, I don't know, you could argue that Rabat is sort of the Paris of Morocco, if you don't really think about it too hard at all. So, I don't know, man, maybe Boulez has some secret underground tunnels between Rabat and Paris where he exchanges, French musical secrets for Moroccan delicacies. I don't know. It's a weird world. So that's Palmas. There's also the others, Sabah, Hijaz, Homasi, and Bayati. These are each named for not different instruments, but rather different Arabic scales called Maqam. I have a page on Maqam up here. And now we're going way out of my depth. I don't pretend to know much of anything about these scales, except that they are not even tempered. They're microtonal, and there are a whole bunch here. I don't know why all of them are not supported, why only Sabah, Bayati, and Hijaz are present in live here. And I skip over Homasi because Homasi seems like it's not actually here on the Wikipedia site, and apparently if you switch to the Homasi Maqam and start to play, let's try that. Switch to the Homasi Maqam and start to play. You can hear that it's just a major scale, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But for all of the other maqam, what's interesting is, I said maqam by accident, all the other maqam, what's interesting is if you start to play, say, a major scale, what comes out is something different. The notes are automatically remapped to that particular maqam, which is really cool. So we can go through a quick tour of each of these instruments. I don't want to give away too much because part of the fun is actually exploring each one and seeing what these different parameters do, since you can't read them, of course. One thing that's really cool, each one of these parameters has tooltip text that is just a line of Sufi poetry. This one, for example, the herald said the blaze of majesty reduces souls to unreality. Holy shit, that sounds cool. I want that cranked up max. I want all my souls reduced to unreality. Oh my god. Wow, those souls have really been reduced to unreality. What is this? She steps out, there is no air, no street, and the town has completely disappeared. F yeah. Alright. No, I want more of that. All of these synths are monophonic, which I thought was a problem at first, but then I'm playing with it more. I realize it's actually a big benefit because it lets you do those kind of trills that you really want to do. You know, if you're playing something. You know, you're really going to want your synth to be monophonic so you can pull that kind of stuff off. So I'll let you guys play around with these on your own. The one thing that I want to talk about quickly is the drone synth. If you do use the drone is actually an audio effect, not a MIDI effect. And so you don't play it with MIDI, it just automatically plays. If you tick this little box in the bottom right, this one here turns the drone on. This box in the bottom right sets the drone to turn on automatically whenever you start the transport, which is, in my opinion, the most useful functionality and the one I leave it in. Over here you have different oscillators. You can set their pitch, and you can set the root pitch over here. One thing, a tip that I will share with you is that if you want to control this root pitch, you can make a separate MIDI track and then drop an expression control device in there. There's a MIDI in parameter here, key track, and if you click map, and then map that to your root pitch, then by playing this MIDI channel, you can control the pitch of the drone. So we start this playing. That's MIDI from this track controlling the root pitch of the drone. So that's all I really wanted to show you. I'll do a quick improvisation here just to demonstrate some of the functionality of the plugins here. In Palmas, I've dropped 2 Palmas tracks with different Moroccan clapping rhythms. A little drone going on down here, and I'll mess around a little bit on top, but I'm not promising anything. This is pretty far away from something that I can pretend to be good at. So that's the Sufi plugins. I hope you download them and enjoy them. They're pretty cool and totally free. Without further ado, thanks for watching, guys, and look forward to talking about more plugins with you next week. Now let's stop forestalling the inevitable and play some stuff. All right, here we go. going to give myself a tasteful fade out at this point. I gotta end this. Oh man. Well, no doubt you can do a better job than I can of getting some interesting sounds out of these plugins. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next week.